Hey, what's up, mortals? It's Kagura here. And before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 300 likes by the end of this week, we will continue this what if. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 41.3% of you are subscribed to us, so please, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the story. The journey with his friends to Recovery Girl's office was tense for the young Symbol. He had a lot to get off his chest, and now had a golden opportunity to do just that. While his home or lunch period might have caused an information breach, the office of Recovery Girl was secure and private. Regardless of what All Might or Sir thought, he needed to vent his spleen. Mirio no longer feared for his sanity. In fact, knowing the spirits of those who fought valiantly for the sake of the world gave him more confidence. With their guidance, Mirio was sure he could live up to All Might, but the stress he felt to be perfect weighed on his heart doubly so, because with that confidence came insecurity. They would be watching his every step, hearing every thought and judging him for every misstep. Mirio feared a failure, especially with how this day had gone. Yes, the heroes of the past were invaluable, but he needed reassurance in the form of people who he knew didn't have unrealistic expectations of him. After a quick kiss, his burns were treated with salve, bandages, and a handful of gummies. When the nurse left the room, Mirio locked the door behind her. His friends weren't surprised by his action, as they'd know something big was happening. Mirio turned to them as the duo took a chair. "So, what's been bothering you, man?" Tamaki asked in a nervous and concerned tone. "It's not like you to be so withdrawn and nervous. Your anxiety is worse than mine these days," Tamaki said with pain evident in his voice. Mirio was the sun to him, and seeing that sun dimmed was breaking his heart. On the outside, Mirio looked fine, but Tamaki recognized a false mask when he spotted one. Mirio took a breath. "I've been chosen to be the next symbol of peace, and while I'm excited to be it, I've been having doubts. It all started nearly a year ago." Mirio told the two everything about One for All, as well as the voices of his predecessors and the fact they'd, in a way, always be watching him. The pressure it put on him, and the judgment he feared facing from them and the world at large. It was one thing to become the #1 hero with his own power, but to inherit the power of those before him changed so much. The power made his dreams an inevitability. But it wasn't enough to hit villains really hard, or rescue those in need. He had to inspire those around him to be better. "That's why you've been such a grumpy pants. Those villains were after you," Nejire said softly before she took Mirio's hands in her own. "It wasn't your fault. Even if some of us got hurt, no one would have blamed you. No one can save everyone. Even with All Might's power, you're just one hero. Having it doesn't mean that when someone gets hurt that it's your fault. All we can do is give our best. Plus Ultra style," she finished with a warm smile that lifted Mirio's mood. "And if those jerks giving you trouble in there have a problem, they can talk to me." Tamaki affirmed Nejire's sentiment by placing a hand on Mirio's while looking away with a smile. When Mirio would respond with warm words of his own, sparks shot from his body. The trio regained their senses but found themselves in an alien environment. Everywhere they turned was dark and coated in darkness. The only exception was the circle they stood in. As they'd start to prepare themselves for a fight, a woman with long black hair and a pulled ponytail smiled at them. By her side was a bald man wearing a leather jacket. "Hi, my name's Nana. I was Toshinori sensei," she introduced in a warm, motherly voice that made the teenagers feel at ease. Her overall aura made them feel safe, like All Might himself. "Name's Daigoro. Sup, little dudes and dudette." The sweat dropped off the three teens at the demeanor of the man. He was far more gruff and reminded the teens of heroes like Miriko and Aizawa. Hi?" Mirio said nervously, looking at the two. This was the first he met any of his predecessors face to face. "We, as you may already know, are the previous users of One for All. We understand that having us speak to you at seemingly random times have been causing you distress," she said with an apologetic frown and dimmed eyes. She herself was sad she had contributed to his discomfort. "We have always been able to watch over each other, but never able to communicate with our successors. As Toshinori told you, you are the first, and we've come to address your concerns." The two wizened heroes waited for the young contemporaries to calm before continuing. Fortunately for the duo, Nejire was the people person. "You're so pretty!" The young woman beamed, closing the space between them and taking Nana's hand. The older woman blanched before recovering. "My name's Nejire Hado. It's nice to meet you. Nejire followed up with a playful punch to Daigoro's shoulder. Wow, your muscles are sturdy, she complimented, bringing a blush to the man's face. Before she could go further, the ball of energy was dragged back to the illuminated circle by Tamaki. This time it was Mirio's turn for introductions. Don't mind her. Nejire is kind of a people person, the successor said with a wary smile. Don't worry about it. It's been a while since we've been able to interact with others. I'm sure Daigoro-kun appreciated the interaction, Nana said, pointing out the fading blush affixed to Daigoro's bald head. The others felt that it'd be best for myself and Daigoro to be the first two you talk to. I hope you don't mind. Mirio shook his head no. Not at all, actually. But if you don't mind me asking, where are we? And how is this possible? Mirio asked, taking a second look at his surroundings. We're inside the quirk One for All. It is a complicated thing, this quirk. We weren't expecting this to work, but here we are. I understand if this is all a bit jarring. Mirio nodded in agreement. It is an unexpected experience, he answered. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we have a third channel called Anime Theory. Anime Theory mainly focuses on a large variety of mind-boggling anime theories. If you're interested in content like this, please go check the description below or click the icon in the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. We're sorry, Mirio-kun. Due to the evolution of the quirk, we haven't reached peak stability. Because of this, even when we don't intend to, we've called out to you. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable or feel like you have to appease us. None of us have been perfect. We're just people who want to protect those around us. We also understand that you have a private life to live. Typically, when the quirk is deactivated, our connection is cut. But given recent developments, that has changed. She explained carefully, wishing to put the teen at ease. Luckily for you all, we found a way to give you some privacy, Daigoro expressed with a smile on his face. Thanks to Miss Responsibility over here, we found a way to create our own space in this thing, TV included, he said, intriguing the trio of students. Since you've started using my quirk first, you'll have to master it first. After that, little lady will be next. When you're ready, call for me in your dreams and we can work on it together. And sorry about earlier. I and a few of the others got a little too excited. No one should always feel like they're being watched. The gaze from his predecessor told Mirio that they truly were remorseful, and hearing that he'd have his privacy back put him at ease. At the same time, the young man felt a bit of guilt. Don't make that face, kid. You have nothing to feel sorry for. I'm one of the more abrasive ones here. Yelling in your head wasn't the best introduction. Daigoro started acknowledging Mirio's frown. You're a hero, but you're still young. Your feelings matter, as does your comfort. We will do better. This in no way means you've been lackluster, so stop taking the blame for stuff you have no control over. Hearing this made the trio smile. Mirio had always been the type to shoulder the burden of others on his shoulders. It was just who he was. Hearing those who were more experienced recognize this trait in Mirio and console him made Tamaki happy. The biker gave a thumbs up and walked back into the shadows. Our time's up. But remember what your friend said. You're just one hero. Having this power doesn't mean you can't rely on others for help. And tell Toshinori that he can't hold himself accountable for everything that goes wrong either. And that I'm proud of him. Nana Shimomura faded along with the world around them. The trio found themselves back in Recovery Girl's office, with the faces of a buff All Might, Recovery Girl and Nezu shoved in theirs. The trio stared at the heroes. Mirio cleared his throat and prepared to explain what happened. A week had passed since the meeting between he and his friends with the former holders of One for All. Since then, things had gotten better. He decided to enjoy his time training with his friends and practicing with Black Whip. Mirio had yet to visit his predecessor. He needed the time to find balance. After the fight with the villain known as Nomu, Mirio knew his time in the sun was rapidly approaching. He didn't have time to slack, but that didn't mean he had to be alone. Mirio elected to meet with Daigoro after the school day was over. Refreshed and lost in his thoughts, he runs into someone. Ouch! Sorry. Mirio reached down to pick up a familiar head of green. I'm so sorry! The younger boy squeaked when Mirio touched him. After an awkward moment of nothing, the younger team let Mirio help him. Hey, are you okay? Mirio stared at the boy in apprehension. His concern for the safety of the young teen grew with each second. When the head of green got to his feet, he stood on wobbly legs. The look of fear painted on the face of the younger teen gave Mirio pause. Did someone hurt you? Or if something is troubling you, you can talk to me, Mirio asked, causing the other teen to look away in disgust. I'm okay. Sorry to bother you, the younger teen said in a depressed voice. It was like he was trying to hide himself from Mirio. When the head of green tried to slink away, Mirio caught his wrist. Wait, what's your name? Izuku hesitated before speaking. Izuku Midoriya, Deku answered fearfully. Sounds like the name of a hero, Mirio said, making the boy flinch. I'm Mirio Tagada. I'm going to head to class, but remember the name and ask around if you need me. I'm here to help everyone who needs it. His words made Izuku feel uncomfortable. Mirio was completely unaware that the boy he'd just spoken to was the reason he was nearly killed. When he left, Izuku let a few tears roll down his face. He fidgeted for a moment as a hand landed on his shoulder. It was Mirio again. Hey there. Sorry for sneaking up on you again, but I was skeptical. Look, I'm not gonna ask you what's wrong, but at the very least, let me walk you to class. I have a feeling you need a friend, and I love making new ones. Mirio patted Izuku on his back. I'm gonna have your back around here, because you strike me as the type of person who looks out for others. It's about time someone had yours. Izuku nodded solemnly as a river of tears washed down his face. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there's a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. On behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of these, go to the Discord that's in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, and have an amazing day.